Yo, what's up YouTube? Dirty Dan Gaming coming back with another Rise of Kingdoms video, and today we're going to be breaking down the seasonal strategies that were in our King of the Nile KVK. These are a very nice addition that Lilith has brought to this KVK format, which is going to give your troops and rally and garrison leads a little bit more playfulness with some additional skills that will give you some very nice stats and effect bonuses. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, y'all, so I touched on seasonal strategies a little bit when on my King of the Nile review. If you guys have not checked that out yet, I'm going to leave a card up in the top for you. So seasonal strategies, what are they? So they're pretty much going to be like additional skills that are going to be giving you some very nice buffs throughout this KVK. Now, if we just go here, this is going to be the currency that you're going to have to use. So each strategy tree has 4 levels: basic, intermediate, advanced, and ultimate. Before you can adopt more advanced strategies, you must adopt a strategy from the level before that. So before I was able to get before I was able to get spiked armor, I had to get keen blade. Before I got divine blessing, I had to get medical skills and compassion, so on and so forth. You can only choose one strategy from each level of the strategy tree, which is why over here I was not able to pick medical skills and frugality, which would have been very nice. But this is medical skills is going to be healing speed reduction, whereas frugality was healing cost reduction. Different strategies cost different amounts of strategy points. To adopt basic strategies cost 1, intermediate strategies cost 2, advanced 3, ultimate 4. You cannot undo a seasonal strategy selection once developed, so choose wisely. And then 5th point, you can earn up to 17 strategy points, 12 from Lost Kingdom Chronicles and 5 from Crusader achievements and enemy elimination events. So in the enemy elimination events, I believe it's the 100th place to 50th place is going to get 1, and then anyone from 50 to 1st is going to get 2. And this occurs about 2 weeks into your King of the Nile in your zone 5 fights over here. Okay, so keep that in mind. You are going to be getting, I believe, 4 points before your first ruins fights, so choose those wisely. And then pretty much once you get into zone 6, most of your seasonal strategies are pretty much done and locked up. So if we want to just go into Chronicles real quick, you can see that there are some points that they gave you over here. All governors will gain 4 strategy points, so there's a nice chunk right there. This is destroying level 12 forts, so that comes fairly quickly. Here, all governors will gain 5 strategy points, and I think that's probably one of the first complete at least 10 quests by Bastion, or quests from Bastion Quest, and then controlled Huron. So you can see that in these zone 5s, you're going to be getting your main 5 strategy points, and I believe you start with 1. So when I first started, I just picked up, since I knew we weren't going to have any fighting, I just picked up Quick March because, let me march to runes and farming and all that stuff faster, because I knew I was going to be getting another 5 strategy points before any of our runes fights anyway. Now, seasonal strategies are going to be different for each King of the Nile KVK. I mentioned it in my last video. My buddy King Ray in 2576 has a totally different set of seasonal strategies in his King of the Nile. Now, there are going to be some that are similar, but for example, I believe he does not have teamwork here. Okay, so leadership, do your homework and definitely advise your players on what you want them to do, because a skill like this, for example, which we'll dive into in a little bit, is definitely needed for the success of your camp, coalition, and alliance. Players, also do your homework, because you don't want to give leadership a headache. Just do what's right. We had plenty of players that we even expressed that we got out ahead of this thing and we said, look, this is what we want you guys to invest into, yet they didn't do it. So players, please do your homework as well. So let's kind of go through some of these and we'll kind of break them down a little bit, and I'll give you a little bit of thought process on why I went the way that I went, and then I'll kind of explain to you how I would go through some of these if I was going to have a different role in terms of a rally and garrison setup. So my setup is this way solely because I am not a rally and or swarmer. Okay, so you'll see that a lot of these are going to be, I think, tuned to swarming, tuned to swarming structures and whatnot. So let's just kind of roll through these. So first in your leadership tree is going to be Keen Blade. Independent troops deal 5% more damage, but take 3% more damage. And then remember, you can only pick one of these. So it's either Keen Blade or Urgent Treatment, and then receive healing upon ending battle, 500. So obviously take the damage. Spiked Armor. Increase troop counterattack damage by 15. And then Aggression. After adopting the strategy, damage, so it's after adopting the strategy. So any kill points that you're going to get prior to this strategy aren't going to count. After adopting the strategy, damage dealt is increased by 0.1% per 5 million kill points gained. This effect can stack up to 100 times. So this is a total of 10% additional damage that you're going to be getting if you get Aggression. I would have done this differently if I knew that you can kind of exchange KP within your camp and within your coalitions. I don't know why that's a thing. Maybe Lilith fixes it, so please keep that in mind and test that before you do go ham on, killing your own troops, whether it's your farms or whatever. But we did find out that we could just fight each other and boost this aggression. So keep that in mind. I definitely would have went a little bit differently. And honestly, look, this is probably for those players who can get 6 to 7 marches, because again, the fighting in King of the Nile is going to be somewhat limited. But if you're a hardcore fighter, then obviously just go for this. But the reason that I went for Spiked Armor is because I was going to be a garrison lead, and I just wasn't confident in myself. Again, prior to knowing that we could have kind of traded points, wasn't confident that I was going to be able to accumulate, the 50 million, 500 million kill points, which I actually did accumulate towards the end of KVK. I think this is nice too if you want to kind of set a goal for yourself in terms of kill points and kind of push, because that will definitely kind of get you into that area. But Spiked Armor worked great for me. I think even in some of the trades that I had as a garrison lead against some people who had very, very much higher damage than me, the troop counterattack damage did just fine. Moving on, Great Destroyer. This one is absolutely epic. This is much needed for any rally lead. When attacking alliance buildings 8 seconds after the battle begins, so they do this because they don't want you to just poke a flag, and you have the ability to weaken the durability. So attacks have a 50% chance to reduce the alliance building's durability by 10. No longer takes effect when the building's durability reaches 1. So you will see on battle reports, you'll see the Great Destroyer icon, and then you'll see the durability actually that was deducted from structures. So this is really nice. So I think we rallied a flag when we were cleaning up Kingsland. War Daddy Chad was on a flag that was getting rallied from someone who had Great Destroyer. The building durability went to 1, and then all of a sudden the flag disappeared, and I was like, whoa, what happened? Did they just delete the flag? Now War Daddy Chad's off territory. I was like, what's going on? Lo and behold, it was Great Destroyer. So this is kind of similar in a way to the technology that you get in Light vs Darkness, which kind of speeds up the burn process. I really like this skill a lot for this strategy. I think that is something that I think seasonal strategies might be something that Lilith can just implement throughout the KVK formats, because this is really cool. It adds a nice added layer of strategy, and this is, at the end of the day, is a strategy game. So I really like this. Next, you're gonna have frequent dispatch. When launching a rally attack, all allies participating may dispatch 2 troops to join the rally. This is really nice if you're filling with farm accounts. So I kind of experienced this a little bit yesterday, where it was kind of frustrating to try to fill one of the rallies, but I was only able to send 1 troop at a time. So this is really nice for anyone who has a lot of troops to kind of dump in, anyone who's kind of searching for that self-zero. Next is going to be Fearless Changer. Independent troops take 8% less damage when attacking strongholds. So this is definitely key for anyone who wants to swarm structures, right? Again, this isn't going to take effect for rally or garrison because it's independent troops, so non-rallied / garrison troops on the map, excluding resource points. This is definitely vital for anyone who wants to be a swarmer or is a swarmer for their in their KVK. Next, moving on to warfare. So these are going to be all kind of, as you can say, war-based thing. These again, these are more or less definitely tuned for rally and garrison leads and swarmers. Now, again, I kind of stopped here because I wasn't going to be a predominant rally lead. I kind of set myself up to be a garrison lead, and now I really don't know what I want to do because I don't have troops to be a garrison lead anymore. So GG's to me. Next, warfare. Compassion, increased troop hospital capacity by 30%. This is really nice if you're looking to take rallies and stuff like that, and also just to kind of have one less thing to think about when it comes to having to heal your hospital. Or you can choose between precision, which is increased crystal mine work speed by 8%. I would much rather take the compassion over the 8% crystal mine work speed. Frugality, reduce resource cost of healing by 10% and increase or medical skills, where it increases healing speed by 15%. I opted for this because I am a mixed troop fighter, meaning that I fight with mixed T5, T4 troops, usually about only 100 T5 in a march. So I only have 500k T5 troops on the field at a time, so I really don't need to worry about resources as much as the others, which that has been honestly super beneficial for me. And most of my KVKs, I've accumulated almost 4.5 billion kill points through doing mixed troop marches, and resources. The past 2 KVKs haven't really been an issue for me. I haven't had to tap into my bags at all, so it's been pretty nice fighting with mixed troops. You can definitely get it done with those. The only thing I really miss with not having full T5 marches is swarming. Moving on, we have Divine Blessing. After defeating another governor's troops, except garrison troops, up to 5 of your nearby independent troops will be healed, healing factor of 500. Each troop can only be healed once every 5 seconds. Or Howling Rage. After defeating another governor's troops, except garrison troops, up to 5 of your nearby independent troops will have their attack raised by 5% for 10 seconds. This effect does not stack. Now, if this effect stacked, then I would say maybe I would go for it, but it's 5% in the grand scheme of things in Season of Conquest. That's not a lot. I opted for Divine Blessing, give you a little bit more sustain on the field. Teamwork. Increase the damage of your independent troops by 2%. When garrisoning or rally attacking a stronghold, every one of your troops taking part will provide a 2% damage bonus to the captain. This effect can stack up to 5 times and does not apply to independent troops. So this is super vital for anyone who is not a rally, garrison, or swarm lead. And as a matter of fact, I'm a garrison lead and I still got teamwork. So anyone who does not take something like this is either clueless in terms of the game or they're just greedy. It only makes sense to go for this. I mean, if you combine this with Keen Blade, because I honestly forgot about this 2% damage bump too. If I take that into account with Keen Blade, you're getting 7% all damage, and then if you add in aggression to that too, that's 17% all damage that you can max out on this. So pretty nice. And again, we're compiling a list, and we're kind of trying to figure out what we want to do with those who did not take teamwork. We definitely we want to have a conversation with some of them and kind of try and figure out first. But guys, do your homework. This is super vital. There are definitely things in these seasonal strategies that are going to make or break the success of your KVKs. And then next, as we go into the supports, these are really, as they say, support. I think a lot of people will probably just put your farm account troops or farm account seasonal strategies on these. So first one is Complex Pools, increased gathering speed by 15%, or Quick March, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, or my last video, I can't remember. I'm filming these back to back. I opted for the March speed because you do start with one seasonal strategy as you enter the Lost Kingdom map. So since there's no fighting for about 10 days or so until your first ruins, I just opted for Quick March because why not get around the map a little bit faster. Moving on, next you have Vigor, increased action point recovery speed by 10%, or Refining Process, gathering resources also grants crystals. You can obtain up to 1 million crystals in this manner before the season ends. 1 million crystals in the grand scheme of things is absolutely nothing. I would much rather go for Vigor for the 10% action point recovery. You can easily make up that 1 million crystals that you're losing by not picking this with the 10% action point recovery from doing barbs, barb chaining, barb forts, all that good stuff. Moving on, you have Enfeeblement up. On entering battle, normal attacks have a 7% chance to reduce the target's march speed by 60% for 3 seconds. Or Heroic Gift, increase the number of crystals gained by completing Bastion quests by 20%. These are both pretty nice. I think though, if you're going to be a max tech player, obviously you don't need this, or if you're going to be a little bit of a spender, you're not really going to need the 20% extra crystals. I think, in my opinion, maybe in the long run it would work, but I do like this Enfeeblement too. So for anyone who maybe not be able to get to, you know, that high of a crystal tech, and they just know that, and they have the extra skill points, just go for the Enfeeblement. I think the march speed 60% is pretty huge. And then All Seeing Eye, gain 5 strategy points. I tried to do the math on this, and I believe even if you went all the way into this, which is going to cost you 3, 6, 10 points, and you're getting 17 points altogether, 15 points if you don't win the enemy eliminations or something like that. That's a lot of points to spend just to get the 5 strategy points back. I don't think it's worth it. So if you see this, just stay away from it. But yeah, so this was my build. The reason for me doing, again, is because I knew I was going to be a garrison lead, and that was pretty much it. I wasn't going to be rally leading. I wasn't going to be swarming heavy. I did swarm. I know, guys, I know I'm trying to work on it, but swarming is a problem. It's just so much fun. Do your homework, because look, even as the king of the kingdom and leadership, and you know, the people who are trying to set us up for success, I could have went for something like Great Destroyer or Fearless Charger, and you know, but I did my homework, right? I did my homework for my kingdom. I did my homework for the leadership team, and we discussed as a council, as officers, on what was going to be the best approach for our kingdom, and I think we kind of nailed it as best we could. The only change I think we would have made is aggression. I think we probably would have told more people to pick aggression, especially for the amount of fighting that we did. So again, as I mentioned in my KVK King of the Nile review, if you know you're going to have a nice fighting KVK, which you should kind of, I think when you're going into these Nile KVKs, you should try and get a scope on that. Try and figure out who's in it to get a recovery, who's in it to who wants to come in and just try a new mode and fight. You're gonna have to take all that into consideration when you're picking some of these strategies, especially something like aggression, where you're going to need to accumulate a large amount of KP to unlock it. So I did want to wait to release this video, just simply because, again, it's another added layer of strategy that I think that leadership needs to do on their own, and I didn't want to reveal to our enemy camps, you know, on what we were doing. So that's the reason why I didn't come out with this video initially. So I hope this does help anyone who comes upon skills like this, and there are definitely some other skills out there that I haven't touched on. So again, just make sure you do your homework. Make sure you get together with your council and your leadership, and players, just do your homework before investing into these points. Go to your leadership and try and figure out what's best, because we do our homework for you guys to try and set you guys up best for success. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing and hit that like button. If I missed anything in this video, please leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on seasonal strategies. Do you like them? Do you think that they're a good addition into Rise of Kingdoms, and do you want to see them in future KVK formats or in all the KVK formats? Because I know I do. I'm out, guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much for the support. Take care. Peace.